morning to all of you. Can you see my screen? Good. Okay. Right. I need, before I start, okay, I need all of you to off your audio. Right. I need Safarina. Okay. I need everyone to off your video. Okay. Okay. So welcome to our today webinar. So today talk is actually a series of talk jointly organized by the postgraduate study unit, okay, postgraduate study unit, and the 5 schools under the College of Business, okay. So these schools are SEFB, SBM, STML, TISA, and IBS. So SEFB, okay, going to kickstart the first talk. So this is going to be a monthly talk. So today's talk is about publication. So the objective of all this series of monthly talk is to basically to prepare you for your PhD. So after Dr. Mahmood's talk, okay, we're going to have talk on quantitative and qualitative method, on literature review, on how to write up your result, and the last one in December is about how to prepare for your defense, okay, either for proposal or for your viva. Okay, so let me introduce our speaker today. So our speaker, okay, my colleague from School of Economic, Finance and Banking, Associate Professor Dr. Mahmood Alam. So he graduated from National University of Malaysia, UKM, 2010 and 2014 for Master and PhD respectively in Environment and Development. So in a short span of 7 years, okay, you can see that Mahmood has published more than 140 articles, okay, 65 of which are Scopus Index. So you can do the calculation on average, okay, how many articles he published in a year. So he currently supervised, okay, or have completed supervised 6 PhD students, 10 master and 4 undergraduate, okay, thesis. So his research area is in sustainable finance, sustainable development, ecological economic, financial economic, and Islamic finance and economic. So below are some of his achievement or recognition. So his current Scopus index, okay, H index is 12 with more than 3,000 citations in Google Scholar. So he is recognized as the top Bangladesh development researchers, okay, of the millennium by the BDRC USA. So he has carried with him the experience as the editorial board members of 10 international journals. He is currently the research fellows of Economic and Financial Policy Institute at University Utara, Malaysia, and also a research fellow at University Technology, Mara. And he is also the recipient of AFFP Research Fellowship from Frankfurt School of Finance Management and United Nations Environment Program, right? So, so without further ado, I'm going to pass, okay, over my screen to Dr. Mahmood. So, Dr. Mahmood?
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, good.
Okay, let's start. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu alaikum rasulullah. Thank you, Dr. Ong, and thank you, the organizer, to invite me the event, my dear colleagues and friends and students. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah, and I welcome everyone in the presentation. So we have only 2 hours, and this is a very big topic. So without further delay, I just jump on the topic. And if you have any questions, I hope you can give in the chat box. So after my presentations, we'll discuss on that issue. So today's topic is on publish while studying, why, when, and how. So this topic is not just only for the PhD student. I hope it's also beneficial for the lecturers and the other researcher. So I try to make it in two ways. First one is focusing on general, how you can publish. That's not only related to the PhD students, anyone will be benefited. And later on, the content is especially related to the PhD students that will help them how to deal the issues, especially relevant to the study time. So before studying anything, this is a very basic philosophy or very basic questions. We say that three basic questions of economics, the fundamental things we ask: why, who, how, when. That's the thing. So publications. Before jump inside the publications, first we understand why we need the publications, or where will we use these publications, or who will my target audience, or who will benefit from this, or what is actually my motivation. So regarding the motivation, this is some interesting. People say lots of different motivations or objectives behind the publication. Though students we only publish to fulfill our degree requirements, but actually not. There are lots of reasons why people publish. So if we are not clear about our motivations of the region, then we will not get the full success in publication. And publication, the reasons also depend and varies over the time of a career. And the starting as a initial stage or PhD student or master's student, they are rushing to fulfill the requirements of degree or fulfill the requirements of their scholarship. If they have a grant, then they need to fulfill the requirements of the basic publication. So their only target is to fulfill my KPI or the requirements. But later on, they just then they can move to get on a better job or better future. And when they enter in the job, then it's needed to fulfill the KPI or to fulfill the promotion criteria. And they get the promotion. Suppose when there is a senior position, then they want to look. The other people need to know me. They need to know my ideas, inventions. So at the very beginning, study, no one should focus on the inventions or ideas, knowledge. People know me, my reputation. That comes later on. Initially, they must focus on the degree requirements, how to fulfill the very basic requirement to submit the thesis. And then after you are known in your area, then you focus on to become more renowned scholars or worldwide renowned or more prestigious scholar. Then you write based on your self-actualizations or the policymakers, or write for the donor agency, or you based on the project. So the overall objectives and motivations varies over the time of the career. So PhD students focus mostly on fulfill their degree requirement, but I think they should do more than this one. So we are coming on that point. So initially, whenever we clear what is our motivations, who is my target audience, why I'm writing, then it's derived my overall journey in the publication. If my target audience is one particular group, then my writing, my focusing journals, my style or my content of the publications will be different rather than the others motivation or others group. So in that case, as a student, when should we start thinking for publication? Students are very rushing to fulfill just the criteria to submit the thesis, and when they start, they are very much focused on the proposal preparations and viva, and then the questionnaire design or data collection, and then after data collection, they think now I need to write, but the writing is not all on a sudden in one day. So when they finish the writing, in the meantime, their submission time is very near. So they face difficulty and they need to wait, publish before submission. Therefore, students should take this note that as early as possible, they should focus on publication. whenever they fulfill the very basic criteria, 1 articles or 2 articles to submit the thesis, then he's free, or she is free, then he or she can consider the knowledge rather than with the burden of publication. So requirements is a one sort of burden rather than it's a scope to make more knowledge or concentrate on the works. So that's why I suggest the students, the tertiary level students, the time going very fast. You just don't look for 1 or 2 articles rather than look the requirements of the future job. If you like to do job in the academia, look what the academia wants. Look the recent circular in the newspapers, or look if you are targeting Malaysian university, look what the requirement they mentions in the circular, job circular. If you want to go in the outside for the postdoc, look the postdoc's job circular. If you want to do postdoc in UK, their requirement is different. If you want to do postdoc in USA, their requirement is different. If you want to do postdoc in Australia, their requirement is different. Or if you want to go for the consultancy firm or international organizations or corporate, then look their job circular. This is very important. So if you decide the points at the very initial moment, then it will be very easy to maintain everything within your PhD journey or a study time period. So look their circular, because ultimately, end of the day, we are looking for the job, and this is very important. After getting the degree, we just rush to get the job. So whenever we are ready from the very beginning for the jobs, that will be easy. So look the requirements of the job and which industry you like. If you want not going the academia, if you are not going the consultancy or international organizations, look which your preferable positions, which preferable industry, then focus on that issue. Look at their job criteria, job circular. In the job circular, there are many things rather than publications. Publication is only one part, but it's important. We are coming on it. But you should fulfill the others criteria that will give you the strength and the differences than others candidate in the job market. And at the same time, also focus on gaining some useful and related knowledge and skills that will help you to get priority than the other applicant. Like learn the basic softwares like the office software, communication tools, and method. Learn good communication and English. This is very important for this region. Those who are not native English speakers, we need to learn very basic English, and we have lots of problem in this issue, including me and all our colleagues also, because we are not the native. So we should understand this issue, and this is a very big barrier in our publications too. We are coming on that point, and try to get some experience or membership related to the associations, or try to get research assistantship. Even if you get the research assistantship without any payment, just ensure you get an experience certificate. That will give you lots of value in the job market. When you are in a fresh graduate, or whenever you apply for the job, everyone's apply in the Viva board, everyone has PhD. So you need to find out some way that you are better than the other candidates. And in the Viva board, if the people call invites 10%, and everyone has the PhD, and maybe they has the better PhD or better PhD from the better organization, better ranking university. So only you can beat them through your extra activities, maybe your publications, maybe your other qualifications, rather than just the PhD certificate. And publications is one of the most important part in overall the requirements. And one thing important that whenever you go in the job market, whenever you apply for the job, you see everyone has PhD and they have many publications. And nowadays, students at the PhD time has lots of publications. 8, 10, 20, 15 also. Which organizations they are come from and what is their background. So in that cases, I suggest you that if you rely on your thesis to publish, then you cannot, because thesis requirements fulfill collection of data and writing everything. After that, you decide to publish. After that, you know how many articles will come. but that is already too late to publish and make in quite good numbers. Suppose if you apply for the job, you need 10 articles. Others candidate normally has 10 articles. 8 to 10 is very common in Malaysia. Those who apply after PhD or the fresh PhD, they have 8 to 10 articles in Scopus or Web of Science. So how can we make 8 to 10 articles within the PhD time? Because our thesis outcomes come at the end of the thesis, that within last 6 months or 1 year we cannot make 8 to 10 articles. That's why you need to start working from the very beginning of your PhD. Think how to make 8 to 10 articles. 8 to 10 articles is needed at the time of your Viva, at the time of your Senate meeting. Whenever you get the certificate, you need to ensure 8 to 10 articles in your CV to get enrollment in the job. So you need to make preparation from the very beginning. And maybe you have 2 articles from your thesis, and that's the requirement of degree, and that can possible. But rest of the article, how is come? So you need to watch extra things. Look the others extra. How can you collaborate with people? Look your friends, look your colleagues, work with your supervisors in other projects, other topics, and that is important to ensure your number of articles. And I'm talking in these Asian regions issue. It's not the developed country. They look only 1 articles or 2 articles. That's fine. Even the professors of Harvard has not much than 10 or 15 articles. Many professors. So their criteria is different, and this criteria are different. Okay, so you need to decide where you go, which you
I'm sorry, guys. Okay, can you all please off your audios? Okay, all of you. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So before you decide to write or publish, decide what topics you should go. And it should be linked with your thesis or your career topics or which area you want to be. And look at the future job market demand. If you look the market and you see the movement, how the disciplines moving, and the ones when you start the PhD, the topic is very good at that moment. But the moment you finish your PhD after 4 years, 5 years, the topic is already old, and it may not be in the mainstream; it's in the sideline. So look the mainstream topics, because you need to sell your topic at the time after your PhD, not at the time when you start your PhD. Look the future movements of the research. So which area is more demanding, how industry is looking. And if you look the job circular nowadays, if you look the job circular, in which field people are looking for the lecturers, which field they are looking for the consultant, look the job market, always focus in the job market, then you will get the idea what is coming and what is in the demand in the market. So you make the future job market in your focus, and then you focus on your career topic and decide your topic based on the future job market, not the current time. And we decide topic, sometimes we decide topic based on the scholarship. Suppose I have a grant, I invite a student and he needs to work on that topic, what I get the grant. So this is a one sort of trade-off. A student need to think, when he get a grant, he need to work on that project. So this is a suitable project, or this topic is suitable for him to carry forward in lifetime. So that's very important before you jump on the topic, and you need to decide the topic based on your future rather than current situation. And also look the topic which is easy, availability of the expertise, and within your capacity or within the capacity of your supervisor. And then select multidisciplinary, innovative, very narrow focus, and publishable topics. So this is a very important thing nowadays. Let's come here. The discipline is a things nowadays. Whenever university or your colleague asks you what is the impact factor of your journals, or how many journals do you have, how many in the Web of Science. So some people, so we face some shame that it's not expressible that how much I have, because My discipline has no ISI, no Web of Science, and the highest impact factor of my discipline is maybe 1 or 2 only. Rather than other disciplines, their normal journals have 10 minimum, 5 minimum. If you go the medical journals or engineering or science journal, their minimum impact factor is 5, 7, 10, and they don't count below 5 impact factor. These are completely a waste of journal to them. But in other discipline, 5 is the highest and the top and very difficult. Even 1 impact factor is very difficult. So in terms of disciplines and in terms of the reputation of journals, nowadays everything people actually compare when they don't understand. Even when they ask you the question, they should ask you which discipline. That's the first important thing rather than the how much impact factor. Because every discipline don't have the enough such of impact factor. Even there are lots of discipline that has no Scopus journal at all. They have no ISI at all or Web of Science at all. So how they look for the Scopus or the Web of Science? So it is not a race that everyone need to follow the same path. You need to focus on your discipline, and it's also very wrong, judgmental that whenever we ask people what the impact factor that we are coming, impact factor is important, but that's not fit for everywhere. And so one thing is, suppose your discipline is in your discipline there is not enough high impact factor journals, but to survive in the industry, to get better reputations or to get promotion, to fulfill KPI, to fulfill the requirements of the scholarship or go in the highest tier, how you ensure you can publish in this high impact factor? You need to work on multidisciplinary. Look which discipline has highest impact factor. So those discipline has highest impact factor, collaborate with that discipline, find out your topic with matching that discipline. And you maybe have a topics, and now the knowledge is very vast and wide. Link multiple topics with your main core issue, and then go in the alternative discipline journals that will give you better positions in terms of reputation. But one thing is very important, that whenever we go for the job market, wherever you apply in a particular department. Suppose you apply for economics, but if you publish in the science journal, that who will in the recruitment body, they will look the journal titles. If you apply in the computer science, but your journals are in other engineering journals, they will see which journals you're publishing. That's also important things. So try your best to focus on your discipline in your topic, in your area, but also diversify it. Okay. And select few alternative topics. When you start, find out the alternative topics and determine the future value of the topic. So you start a topic, don't just think you finish this topic, one article and that's all, finish forever. No, try to accelerate on the topic, make more wide link with this topic, and then it will help you a lot. You will become an expert on this topic, and you will have lots of publications, and your citation will be more. Another good thing is how you know which topic is important. Look the top journals in your discipline, or select the top 10 journals in your discipline and subscribe their new publications. So whenever they publish, they will send you an email. We publish this journal, this issue, and they will send you all the titles. So if you see all the titles, you have no need to go inside everything in every article. If you look the titles, then if you look all the titles of 10 journals in 3 years, 4 years, then one day you can hit the Q1, because you already have accumulated lots of ideas. And also look the special issue of the top journal. All the special issue is always the new directions. Special issue means the forthcoming directions, that is the future knowledge is going in that direction. And look the theme of the special issue. Every special issue will bring very new and innovative theme. Look at this theme and try to focus on this work. So if you look at one special issue and work on the theme, and that theme you can continue next 10 years. So the special issue from the top journals are always advanced in terms of future topics. So look at this and get the idea. And publishers are very important nowadays. And one thing you should remember that publishers are not academicians. Publishers are business people. And suppose all the publishers, the big giant publishers, they are the business guys. They are here to make money. They actually utilize the academicians to make money. So this is a very unfortunate truth. We feel they are very good, but actually they are commercials. We must always remember that. And look what are their direction, which direction they are moving. It's very important of what is their research show. And because they have lots of data of the research, they have the behavior of the researcher of the world. Suppose this is a report that published by the Elsevier, so they forecast what is happening in next 10 years research in the worldwide. So based on last 5 years or last 3 years publication, over thousands of publications. Nowadays, every year, so 10 million publications is coming, or 1 million publications is coming every year in the good journals. So based on the publications, what are they looking? They find out that China is coming in the leading role of funding, university ranking and research. They are too much aggressive to gain the research, to gain the funding, ranking, position, and they attract lots of top researchers, very high salaried researchers, and big syndicate among all the top journals. Already made the big syndicate in the journals. If you go any top journals, there must be few Chinese people in the editorial board. So these are the nationally designed, and all of these are the paid to the publishers. So this is not the university or individual can control it. That's the ministry need to control, and ministry need to pay very high to enroll their peoples in the journal editorial board, and that causes them to publish easily and access easily. So it's not a cheap thing. It's very expensive to enroll in the editorial board, and it's not highly competitive. And nowadays it's very much questionable. That's why Elsevier mentions all of it. Editorial board in the below of the editorial board, it mentions we affiliated the affiliations of our editorial board members are based on their own choice, not our. But actually, this is a clarifications in against of the queries. So if you look at China, they're very aggressive in research. So many journals now we review lots of articles from the very top high ranked journals, and 90% of the articles come from the Chinese people or Chinese authors or affiliated with Chinese universities. And that's a something we should remark on it, because if we want to survive in the publication industry, we should link, we should understand where it's moving and how can we collaborate, where should we collaborate. Then research and academia is going to more technology oriented. The future research is everything more focused on the technology rather than the old issue, like they look more technological research like the blockchains or artificial intelligence, big data, online teaching, etc. Even other disciplines now they enroll with this. Even the economics, finance, business, every discipline, social science, they also involved with the big data. They also involve in the artificial intelligence. The methodology we use in econometrics, in many cases old, and many journals are not looking for that. They look new methodology. So new methodology comes with the multidisciplinary issues, come from the other discipline. Maybe they come from the technology or come from the science discipline. So they will go for the technology oriented methodology, artificial intelligence or big data. And this the last publication trend, last 5 years publication trend shows that most researchers are focusing on this issue, especially in the top journals. High impact factor journals are looking on this issue. And now publications are more open source oriented. All the European, mostly the European funder go for the open source. In case of the funding, they make the requirement to publish in the open source journal. That's why we see many open source journals are here with very high publication fee. The MDPI and the frontier publishers, very good publishers, very difficult publications, and very strong editorial board and very high fees. And if you see their editorial board, very for the very top schools, but the fees is very high, around 2000 USD. So because they know the fund comes from the funder and it's already embedded in the project, so why not they do it? And there is some things in these regions we think pay journal is not good, but actually it is not a good idea. I already mentioned the publishers are the commercial people. They are here to make money. So they have different model of business. One model is you publish without any payment. The authors will publish without any payment. So the payment they will collect through subscription or selling the article. People subscribe the articles. Thousands of universities, libraries, and research institutions subscribe the repository websites or subscribe the journals to buy the articles. So in that cases, this is the locked journal. But other cases, they make the alternative. So due to the people's demand and due to the requirements of funder, they make open access. So in case of open access, the publishers cannot sell the articles because the articles is already available to everyone. So the publisher need to make money through the author. So author need to pay. And both are is fine. There is no problem in their model, and it's not related with the quality actually. But the problem is we the people publish in very cheap journals with very low publication fee. Whenever you go for the low publication fee, suppose below 500 USD, these are the rubbish journals. These are the all predatory journals. Because the journals, if it is good, this is the open market. This is the market mechanism. So when they are good, their price will be high. And they have enough article. If you see, they publish thousands of articles, too much. And they have good quality. So we the people in these regions has low budget and go for the open access, and we actually targeted by the predatory journals. So look the editorial board and don't have the bad impressions about the open access. Open access is good, but you need to find out which open access you need. So make future focus by linking, or you working, or you collaborate with China or Chinese research, or link with China and other country relationship. So if you have the access or link with China, then you have the good wide scope to accept in the journals. I'm talking the top journals. Then the technology oriented works, or the link with industry, or try to publish in open sources, because the most of the donors or funders are from the private rather than the public now. So it will give you the future directions and survival mechanism in future. The publications is very frequently changing. Whenever I come in Malaysia 10 years back, I saw the starting, the ministry give the requirement to the lecturer, just publish at Malay, no problem, just publish in the Malay article, whatever you can, okay, publish. Because people don't know how to publish, so just they encourage to publish in Malay. And rather later they are encouraged to publish in the articles, whatever it is. They don't bother the quality of the article. Just
I'm sorry, Mahmudu. Sorry, Mahmudu. I got to ask the Hanif, is that Hanif? Can you off your audio?
Ni abang nak ni sekali hang ikut abang PKS tak boleh tak?
I think moderator can off everyone's microphone.
Balik later.
I can't close the
Dalam pukul 12 lagi.
Nat, are you here? Nat?
Dalam pukul 12. Tu pun ada masalah dengan takaful tu, tak apa abang.
Is that Hanif?
Okay.
At the time, when I came in Malaysia, I saw that the government encouraged, the ministry encouraged researchers to write the Malay articles, and then after 2 years, they encouraged to write English article. Don't bother about the quality, just write whatever you like. They give the incentive, and then they come in the Scopas, and then they come in the Web of Science, impact factors. Now they are mostly looking the good university. Suppose University Malaya is focusing on the Web of Science and high impact factors, or Q1 mostly. And other journals are lagging behind, and they're trying. but ministry is going in that direction. And the future direction is publish your own discipline, because they are trying to make every discipline or every subject in the top 100. So if they target the economics in the top 100 of the world, so the economics disciplines people or lecturer must publish in the economics journal. They cannot publish the other journal. So they are now focusing on the discipline-oriented journals, and the future requirements is coming. So why am I talking about the future so much? Because we need to utilize our current publication for our future until our whole life. At the time of our professorship, we need to utilize our current publication. So every publication will count in our whole career. And whenever we start now, and we cannot shift very frequently, and we cannot hide our publication, and we cannot achieve so much publications at a time. So we need to make our publication designing very wisely. And whenever we look the publications, and there are a few issues how we select the journals. Suppose the impact factor of journals or the probability of acceptance. Some impact factor, high impact factor has low probability of acceptance, and if you just target there moving years after years, that's actually not workable. So we need to balance these things or trade of understand the quality. Suppose we submit Q1 journals, one Q1, two Q1, three Q1, and it rejected very quickly. Q1 rejected very quickly normally if they don't go in the review process. After rejection, don't waste your time. You already understand this is not a Q1 journal manuscript. So submit in the Q2 or Q3. And then if it is not, then submit Q4 very frequently, move very quickly. Otherwise, your data will obsolete, your idea will obsolete, you lost your motivation. If you continuously target on all the Q1, you cannot do it. If it is rejected few times, go and re-evaluate your articles and go in the next step. And then later on publish in the Scooper. So I share my horrible experience. I worked with my colleagues from the Australia, so they are focusing on APDC A category journal. They said without A, we have no value publishing B or C, which is not counted in my promotion. So we should focus on A. So what happened? Our 10 articles, we move continuously years after years after years, and then what happened now? This data is obsolete. Even we cannot publish this article in the low grade journal. Nobody accepts it because data is obsolete. And we have no time to revise everything. The literature is old, the data is old, analysis is old. Cannot revise everything. We have no time. So we need to just delete this from our whole record. So I have around 30 articles, cannot move anymore. I'm not interested in that anymore because but I put all of my effort. There's a ready article. Why? But it's obsolete. So you need to understand the issues. You can do it few articles, which you have good target, but not do it with all the articles. And you need to move very fast. And look the numbers of publications, the number of volumes. So here I give an example of 3 journals. Look the Journal of Cleaner Production. This is a multidisciplinary journal, but focusing on the sustainability issues, sustainable environmental issues. And they publish, 1 year they publish around 4,000 articles. One journal, 1 year publish 4,000 articles. And each they have published 30 issues. One issue is around 100 to 130 articles. So if you submit there, you will get very quick feedback, and you can go very fast moving. And then another one is environmental science and pollution research that publish also 3,500 articles per year. They published 36 issues last year and 100 articles per issue. And in press is 1,000 plus articles. That is forthcoming, already accepted. Yeah? And another one is look American Economic Review. That the most dream article, most dream journals of the many people of this world, especially the social science people. American Economic Review published 120 articles in a year. That means how many years they will take to test the Journal Cleaner Production in terms of volume? It takes 20 years, 30 years. In 1 year, how much article Journal of Cleaner Production published? That published by 30 years in American Economic Review. So whenever you submit in the article, look at the volume, how frequently they publish. If you publish in a rare or very low frequency article, then you need to wait for long time. Suppose the MRL publish only 8 articles in one issue and 4 issue in 1 year, 4 issue in 1 year or 6 issue in 1 year. If you look the Index Science, publish only 6 article or 7 article in one issue and 4 issue in 1 year. So these are very, very slow publisher. So rather than you go the Springer Taylor franchise also like that. Springer also Springer publish around 20, 25 articles or 12, 13 articles. That varies with the journal. But Elsevier is very aggressive. They publish huge 100 plus articles, and they maintain the quality. Okay, so you look the quality of the journals and then also look the frequency of publication, then publication lag, the forthcoming article. If you see many in the Science or MRL, they have huge article in the forthcoming list, and that will take another 3 years to cover already accepted articles. So if you submitted your article, you publish another after 4 years. So you don't have much time. So we need to fill up our KPI within 1 year. Or for the PhD student, they have it within 2-3 years. So look at the KPIs and select the journals wisely. And then frequency of the publications, how many issues, and then look that describe audience. Who is the audience of the journals? Academicians or practitioners or the policy makers. And the circulation also important. Who are the subscriber of the journals? Many journals are very prestigious, subscribed by very top schools and all over the world, but some journals are not subscribed anywhere. So another one issue is very important. Your journal subscriptions or very renowned journals will give you lots of citation. Publication is not just a publication. It should have impact in long run. Nowadays, the citation is important, impact factor is important, and the social impact, or we said the impact, research impact is important. And there are lots of criteria to measure the research. And it is not only the publication in the good journals, they look the impact factor. Nowadays also look the how many people in the social media discuss about the articles. We call it the alt metrics. And alt metrics is a very new thing, and the people do lots of research on how to increase the alt metrics. That means in the social media, Facebook, Twitter, blog, websites, newspaper talk about your research. Rather than only the academic community, rather the scientific people. Your colleague knows the issues. Not writing is not for only your colleague. Writing is for the next people. So are the next people understanding your content, or they can access it, or they like it or share it? So this is also another criteria. And within 5 years, you see these regions also adopt with this system. And they will not, now they will focusing on the citation. And even many universities not focusing on the citation. Very rarely they're now lagging behind, far lagging behind on the citations and the H index. But if you look at the developed country, they are no more focusing on the H index or citation. They are one step ahead. They look the alt metric. How many times it shared in the social media. So you write the articles, you need to look at this, because you need to sell your article after your PhD, after 5 years, after 10 years, even at the time of your professorship. The professorship, one of the criteria is how famous are you, how renowned are you, people how much know you. So only people know you when they cite you, when they find your discussions in the social media, not only in the academia. So these are the coming. So if you look in the futures, you will have lots of ideas rather than just only the bookish idea, whatever you're doing in the past couple of years. So look the circulations. If it is more circular, then you have more chance to citation. And one of the issue is this is available in the electronics or print media, and very unfortunate in Malaysian journals. So we are very focused on Malaysian journals. Many cases we just try to publish within Malaysia. But you understand, Malaysian journals are limited. There are few journals in Malaysia, and these are university journals, and they need to fulfill their own university criteria. They need to fulfill their own friends criteria. Most of the, even last time, Science Malaysia now UKM journal that has impact factors. My supervisors was the editorial board of the journals, and we submit one article in the journals, and it takes 2 years. He said, I cannot do anything because the chief editor is so much occupied with the cable connection. That means so much hello comes, people submit article and call. Yeah, come on, dear, I submit one article in a journal. Consider it. So all the big peoples of the whole Malaysia submit that journal. And then it's very difficult for the chief editors to go in very fair way and go in the normal process, because there are lots of externalities, and that's the very true. So if we just only focus on this local journal, and another issue is if you publish the local journal, that's difficult. You will get less citation because people don't read particular university journal. They use the citation based on the repository, search in the web search engines, or use in the repository website. Whenever we search in the website, none of the our local journals come because that's are not affiliated with the commercial publishers, that are the university publishers. If it is a big publishers or it's a commercial publishers, they promote their publications, and whenever we search, their publication come first. Normally citations comes to higher studies students, and the students search in the search engine, and the engine show which article they cite that one. Nobody particularly go any particular journals rather than it is American Economic Review. Okay. So the other journals, even American Economic Review also including the repository website. So whenever we search in the website, we get it, but we cannot find the local Malaysian journals. So we should focus in the better journals, especially the commercial publishers journals, because that will give you better reputation and better citations impact factor. And look the open access and the copyright issue. That's a very important. Copyright is very important. Everyone should understand what the issue of the copyright, because this is a lifelong learning. Once you understand, you need to use it the whole of life. So understand the copyright issue, and if possible, go open access. That will give you more citation. And now, one is the issue. If you write any article on COVID-19, that is open access, freely open access. That's very interesting. So every publishers make COVID-19 article open access. So anyone works on the COVID-19, no need to pay. It's automatically open access. So, and look the language of journals. Some journals are multiple language, mixed language. So their audience are also very limited. So if you go the very top journals, they're only focus on the English, and you also need to write in good English to focus on the good journals. And journals quality, again, one thing is very important. Journals quality does not mean the high index citations or good impact factors, eigenvalue, but these are considered. Nowadays, we are in a system. The system is almost almost captured by the syndicate, the commercial syndicate. Suppose the Scoopers is a commercial organization, they make the business. SSCI is a commercial organization, they make the business. They are the publisher, business making. QS ranking is a commercial organization, they make the business. But unfortunately, they derive the decisions of the academia. Nowadays, academia, the universities, the ministries are focusing on them. So we are rushing to focus on QS ranking. We are rushing, they are focusing on the time higher education ranking. And then what happened? They are the money makers, and there are lots of issues that there. And they link with the Scoopers. So people rushing to Scooper journal. So QS link with the Scoopers, and that's why we are driving to Scoopers. And there are lots of problems in Scooper journals, lots of issues. Some cases we are not writing our articles for actual real purpose or knowledge creations for actual audience, rather than we are focusing on the QS or on the Scoopers or on the SSC or the high impact. We are looking for our reputations rather than disseminating the correct knowledge to the correct people. So there's a problem. We are now devoluted or the diverted from our actual origin purpose of the knowledge creation. This is very unfortunate. But one thing you should remember, that anything spike or anything that outlier idea that cannot sustain in the long run, we call it outlier in the statistics. That means out of the actual range. So any ideology, any idea that's not ethics based, not rational, that will not sustain. So within 10 years, you will see everything will over. So this game will not sustain long term. But the students who are focusing on this game, you will suffer after that. Those who publish in the crap journals of the Scoopers, your article already in the Scoopers, you cannot hide it. And everyone see it, that you publish all the crap journals, spiritual journals. Don't go there. Be strict on the quality. Focus on your idea and good journals, and one day you will get there.
Maybe not today, but after 5 years, after 10 years, the moment you need it, you'll get the value. Because the academy is moving very fast and is changing very frequently worldwide. The scope was just one article published in this this month, one article published, and that show how many articles are published in the editorial journals. Then shake everywhere. Even the scoopers give the statements that they are recruiting everything very clearly, and you don't know how it changes. And even the ministries also take it very seriously. And if you see, Malaysia is the top among all the editorial journals in the social science publications and physical science. So we are in many cases wrong focus. 30% of our article in social science in all the rubbish journal. We should be focused. Then what will happen now? You know, after publishing this article, scoopers will very serious and restricted, and they remove all of these journals. Ministry will be very serious. And what will happen? Those who already published in this article. Suppose me, my colleagues publish in this article, and these journals are now blacklisted. We cannot show this article anywhere. My effort of last 10 years gone, vanished. I cannot show it for my promotion. Even I cannot show it to anybody. Even my students cannot see it. One day I'll be the professor. When my student look at my article, they'll say, "Oh, you publish in this crap thing." So be careful. The students, be careful. Don't go jumping in the whatever you see. Be focused on the quality, and you will get the value in one day. And then the one thing is the quality and publisher. If you look the citations, it's not some cases the good journals give you all the good citations. And one thing is, suppose if you look the Nature, the publication of the Nature, 23% of the all publications in Nature are never cited, never ever cited. The Nature is the top journals, one of the very, very top journals, very high impact factors, and 23% of their article never cited. That means these are very finest in terms of knowledge, but they are very rare in knowledge. Nobody look or nobody study further on that issue, so nobody cited. So you need to decide your topics, how good it will be, how you want to work on it. And there are many disciplines that have no index, so you also be careful about this discipline. I'm not telling that don't work on it, but if you want your career, look the discipline carefully, or diversify, or make the link with other discipline carefully. Otherwise, in the short run, we cannot survive. In the short run, there is always disequilibrium. In the long run, everyone is fine. If you are in equilibrium, so in the short run, suppose you are the PhD students, you need to survive now. You need to get a job now very quickly. So you need to consider many issues. Don't just jump on the high quality and you cannot produce one article. So you cannot get the degree. One article has value that I am telling. If you already told me that where you want to build your career, if you want to build your career in UK, focus on the ABS link journal, ABS ranked journal. Publish one article in the 3-star ABS journal, you will get a postdoc in any US, any UK universities. Focus on ABS ranked journals. If you want to job in the Australia, focus on ABDC journals or ERA journals. Publish A-ranked or A-star ranked journals. If you publish 1 or 2 A-rank or 1 A-star, you will get postdoc or even the job position in any Australian university or New Zealand university. If you want to focus on the other top ranked universities, USA or the other worldwide top ranked schools, focus on the ISI, Web of Science, and publish in the high ranked journals. If you focus on the Asian universities, focus on the scoopers and quantity. Okay, so you have a scope to decide who will be your boss. But once you decide your boss, you cannot change the decision of your boss. Once you like Malaysian or Asian boss, then what the boss said, you need to do it. The boss means not your job boss, the boss means the ministry or their requirement or the job position, the KPI. They give their KPI like this, you need to fulfill this. So you like to work in the Malaysian or Asian or others, the developing emerging countries university, those who are QS ranking focused, and you focus on very few high quality journals, then you cannot survive. you need to adjust with it. You also need to blend high quality and also the normal quality to increase the quantity. But if you want the top journal, top school, then focus on the high quality journals. 1 or 2 articles is enough. So decide your boss where you want to work. And once you decide who will be your boss, then follow what your boss said. You cannot change the word of your boss. You can change who will be your boss. So whenever you decide the boss, that's all. Just follow him. So build your career, think in this line, and develop your motivation in this way. That's what I'm telling in the very beginning. If you think to make very high quality journals, you go in the top school of the world, then focus on that area. And don't focus, even no need to focus on the ranking. They don't bother. Many US universities don't bother the ranking. They laugh if you say about the ranking of SSCI or ABDC. No, they don't bother the ISI or ABDC. But we bother. Now you need to understand who bothers and who not, and who will be your future destination. How will be future destination? That will derive your motivation now. So here I give an example of a journal named The Challenge. The Challenge is a journal. They are not peer reviewed, and people never ever accept peer review. Huh? We are so much occupied with this term that peer reviewed. The challenge is not peer reviewed, and they don't send it to any reviewer. That's very interesting. Only editorial board review it, and their editorial board is the top people of the world. And if you see the editorial board, they declare that we are not peer reviewed, we don't send anywhere. But that's why nobody counted. Even this region, no peer reviewed, not count at all. No Scopus not count at all. And this journal is not in Scopus, not in ISN, not in any good ranking. That's we are considered a good ranking. Not ABS, not ABDC, not ERA, not anywhere. But this is one of the topmost journal equivalent to American Economic Review. In any American university, top university, they consider it equivalent to American Economic Review. Because the editorial board has 4 Nobel laureate economists existing. The Arrow, Krugman, Solow, and Stiglitz. Previously, Samuelson also there. So, and the other editorial board members are also very top professors, and they also make it the Nobel prize anytime. So that's the quality of the journal. If one Nobel laureate read your manuscript and say this is fine, I agree on it, that means it's the topmost quality of the world. They don't bother any ranking. So now if you show this article in any of Malaysian university, they don't know it. Nobody knows this one, huh? Because this is not peer review, not indexed anywhere. Huh? So we are so much occupied with number. The index number, Q1, Q2, what is the ISI, impact factors, the factors, all the numbers. We don't bother the quality. So, but one day you'll get the value if you focus on the quality. Quality is always there. Quality always gets value. Okay. The very red flag is predatory journals. There are lots of journals our students are publishing. They're too much rushing to fulfill the requirement to publish and get the submission, the thesis. So they are rushing to publish. Previously, we say publish or perish. If you don't publish, you have lost your idea. Nobody knows you. But nowadays, we say publish and perish. If you publish, gone. You cannot change it anyway. The content is already in the online. The world is very small. Everyone can see your content. Your content is available. Your student will see it. Now you're a student, but one day you will be the professor. So when you're a student will look at this article you publish in a very low-graded blacklisted journal, then they will laugh at you, and you cannot actually. It's a very shameful for you. What about our existing lecturers? So I'm talking of the future, those people. So students, be careful. Don't publish any predatory journal or low-grade journal. We call it carpet journal, rubbish journals, or just. There are lots of journals. You submit tonight and publish tomorrow. You pay $200 and they publish tomorrow morning. Don't go for it. It will kill you. It will kill your whole career. We don't know what is coming in future. You publish it now, very fine. After 10 years, when you go apply any good university, they will search your name and find all the articles where you apply. And all the top school will do it. They need to recruit very finest lecturer. And in that cases, they will find your name in the article list. If they search by your name, then they will get you published in the very, very low grade journals and gone. If you, that's that I'm telling, be careful, be careful. Don't just submit and publish and get the degree and go home and start job. No, life is not so small. It's not just for only 2-3 years. Your whole life is here. This is the foundation, and your whole career is not started yet. You need to survive based on this publication and based on this degree in the rest of your life. So be careful, very much careful on it. This is your foundation. If your foundation is very weak, your future, you cannot develop a high-rise building. If your foundation is very strong, you can make one floor now, but later on you can make it a high-rise building. But your foundation is very weak, you cannot grow up. So be careful of the poetry journals. And also very red warming is coming from the ministry very soon, because this publication, this article is a very outstanding, and it's attract everyone. Instantly Scoopers give lots of statement, clarification in against of this publication. So who can so be very careful about this issue, because you need to survive in the long run, not just one promotion and then gone. So in case of our cases, most of the cases, the lecturers, those who publish in the veterinary journal, they get promotion and that no more counted in the next promotion. So that's look new journal. So we can consider it our new one, but students cannot. You need to sell all of your articles for the past enrollment in the job. And there are many interesting issues. There are some fake journal called the hijacked journal. The journal is very nice, very good and top class journal. But somebody make the similar website, make the similar everything, same editorial board, same ISSN number, everything is there. They make an alternative website. This is a fake, the false website. So you submitting this website and you need to pay. After pay, they just gone. And they also publish your article in their website, but this is not the actual journal. It's not actual website. So be careful about this. So there are some websites, if you search in the online, you'll find it the predatory journals or the hijacked journals. So be very careful about this issue. So then you look good journals. Find out the good journals that will actually give you good reputation, good value in the future. So go the Science Direct. The first choice is the Science Direct. Science Direct or Elsevier journal finder. They are actually very good and top class journals. So if you put your keyword there, look who published relevant keyword articles in which journals. Pick the journal's name. Before start things, whenever you have a good idea, you make a good manuscript. So today we cannot cover how to write a manuscript. So when you have a good manuscript, so after you ready the manuscript, which the journals you can submit. So go in the Science Direct, give the keyword and find some good journals. Make list of 10 journals, and also at the same time look at the journal in the Simago or the Scoopers. Look at the journal in the ABDC ranking. Look at the journals in the ABS ranking. If you have the multiple ranking of the journals, that's very good. That is that will give you better return in future. So there are lots of good repository website where you get the idea of the good journal. And there is a how you find out the Scoopers. If you search in the online, you find everything how to find the good journals, and look the journals which one is indexing in multiple index, so you can ensure the quality of journal. And one thing is very important: the publisher. Publisher is very important. Don't go unknown publishers. Unknown publishers actually ruin you. This publisher will not survive long run, because now it's a monopoly. The commercial publishing business is almost monopoly. Elsevier is buying everything. Elsevier is a very big giant organization buying almost all the small publishers and the repository websites. So look the good publishers, top 10. Try to publish top 10 publishers. If you publish any Elsevier journals, they will give you the long run return. Maybe this journal is not indexed now, but after 5 years, that will be the high index or high impact factor. Look the publisher, go for the top publisher, top 10 publisher. Don't go for the unknown publishers. Go for the commercial publishers. Commercial publishers, because they promote your article. rather than the university or association publishers. So these are strategy, but I'm not telling that the university publisher is bad or not. This is different case. University publishers, suppose Cambridge University Press, Cornell University Press, Harvard University Press. These are very top university press and very top journals have. So that's very difficult too. But it's better for us in the my audience. So better you try for the commercial publishers. You go for the Elsevier, Rudel Deck, Taylors and Francis, Stringers, the MRL, Indus Science, like these commercial publishers, they will give you better return. And you can focus on the Scopus. Not all articles should go in this Scopus ABS. You can look the value of the journal. How can you get the value of the journal? Look the editorial board. Look the chief editor. This is very important. If the editorial board is strong, they will take the journals very high rank. If the chief editor is from the Harvard University, though it is a very new journal, he will take the journals very high within 5 years. He has the channel. He knows how to do it. So look the editorial board journals. Okay, before submission of the manuscript, suppose you select 10 journals where you submit your article. So before submit, you need to decide something. Actually, the manuscript is your idea. You suppose you are a salesman, you need to sell your idea. So manuscript, your product, you sell it. So no one will get the right things all on a sudden or one time. You need to write, revise, and need to show your colleagues, your friends, and then revise again and love the critics. Those who love the critics, they do very good in future. And because critics is very lovely to the academician, the critics make you more perfect. This is very good if you have critics from your colleague rather than you get the lots of rejection after rejection after rejection. So love the critics and adjust it and submit and you'll get the acceptance. That's very better and good for us. And don't write anything that you don't understand or cannot explain. Or if you cannot explain, how can you think your audience can explain or can understand it? My students is very important. Don't write anything what you don't understand. They just copy from other articles and revise it or something, paraphrase it and submit. And if I ask them, they cannot explain. This is very dangerous. Don't write anything that you cannot explain. This is very fundamental thing. Because it's your product. You should know everything about your product. And one thing is check the similarity report before submission. And outside universities, many cases, they don't have the access of the similarity report, but others university has. So this world is very short. I know you have colleagues anywhere of the world who has the access of the similarity checking. So if your university don't have, send to them and they will do it. Previously, when we were the PhD students, at that time there was no journals. Journals means there is a journal, but we cannot use it because it's high, very expensive. We need to buy. Now there is a website, Sci-Hub website. They give you free. It's not actually free. It's also not legal, but we have no alternative except this one. Our students get all the journals, good journals, accessed by this one. But at the time of our study, we don't have. So we cannot read lots of articles. We only read very few articles. But you have the scope. You can read very good journals. So whenever, what we do at that time, we send our colleagues in other universities in Australia, UK, developing country, we request them, please send me this article. They download it from their university repository and send to us. That's the way we work. Now you have the access, but in many universities also don't have the access of similarity checking. So you can request your colleague, those who have the access, and they can send to you. But you must do it. So one thing very important about the similarity check, be careful about the similarity. Top Q1 high impact journals accept only 10%, up to 10%. Very difficult to maintain 10%. And every sentence, they don't allow any long phrase. That means it's traceable from other articles. If you go in very good journals, high impact 10% is the benchmark. If you go the other publishers, suppose, and many other journals in the LCB are due to 12%, maximum 15%. Q1, Q2 high impact maximum 15%. You cannot go over 15%. And other publishers, Emerald or Indus Science, 20%. Don't go more than 20%. Then you'll get initial rejection, text rejection. Don't go more than 20%. So similarity is different than plagiarism. Okay, plagiarism is completely copy. Similarity is little bit here and there, scattered. Huh? Copy from the scatter, but it can be traceable through software. You paraphrase, but it can be traceable. So, and one thing is, top journal don't want trace. That means 10%. One thing is, every source, not any particular source, more than 1%. Suppose your article is only 10%, but the first source is 2% more. Every source should be maximum 1%. So look at the below of the similarity check report. Every source must be maximum 1%, 1% and below. Cannot be more than 1%. And total 10% for the top journal. And look the referencing style. Look the referencing style should be unique. So some journals look their format. Elsevier nowadays don't look the referencing format. You can submit as you wish. After acceptance, you need to revise. But one thing make sure is one unique style. Whole reference in one style. One reference in Harvard style, one reference in MLS style, one reference in APS style. No. That means you are not serious. You don't know how to do it, or you just copy paste from here and there. Make one unique style and update referencing. 80% of reference must be within 5 years, and 50% must be latest year or latest 2-3 years. 2021, huge article already coming 2021. This is, though it is February, many journals already published in their September, October of 2021 issues already. Must cite 2020 and 21. Latest 1 year or current year, latest 2 years. 50% should be from the latest 2 years reference. Okay. And some references are very old, 1980s, 1990s, because that's the fundamental theory. Forget about the fundamental. They don't want the fundamental theory. Don't need to mention the original people. Use the theory name and give the reference of latest publication. Those who use the same theory, but this year. So give the reference of the latest article, because this is the style. I'm talking one thing, knowledge is different thing, ethics is different thing, publication is different. So we are coming on that issue. I'm just giving you the technique how to publish, and I'm not talking about this ethical or knowledge issue. There's a far divide than the issue. Now it is, I'm telling this knowledge and ethics is far away and going away more and more from the actual publications trend. So you need to practice it, otherwise you cannot hit in the top journal. Unique referencing style, very recent public referencing style, and don't cite non-peer reviewed articles like the conference, book chapters, or books, or the report, or the thesis. They are not peer reviewed articles. Don't cite them. Editors don't like them and don't trust this referencing. They don't mind, but they just say your article is not go with us. It is not within the scope of our journal. But it is just within the scope. You check everything, but they don't give you any reply. On the next rejection, they said this is not match with us. That means you have some problem. So the editor has no time, and I'm coming on the editorial issue. And check the English very carefully. Top journals has too much submission, and English is very important. Our language is not English. We are not an English speaker. We need to check by native speaking English. I'm talking for the top journals. If you submit the top journals and don't want to get the rejection, you need to be careful about this. But if you go for the normal journals, suppose normal Scoopers, Emerald Publishers, or Springer, so you can check it. Our local English editors, fine. But at least it is readable. A student must check English before submit. Check by professional, not just only the supervisors or colleagues. Check professional. Even all the top authors also check by professional, because we are not the language people. Knowledge is not the language. Knowledge, we are creating knowledge. Knowledge is different thing, and language is different thing. So the language people understand the very minor issue of the language that we don't know. They know the articulate of the language things. So they will make it. So you need to check with the professional editor. Okay, in case of the thesis, don't just rush to publish everything from your thesis, because one thing you remember, you need to survive based on a thesis next 2 years after you degree, because next 2 years you cannot start anything new. You cannot write any articles new. You cannot start any new research. Okay, next 2 years you are just struggling to get a job and adapt with the job system, adapt with the course curriculum. So you cannot start anything new. So how can you publish? How can you maintain the KPI? From your thesis. So don't publish everything from your thesis now. No, don't do it. Keep it. Or whenever you do your research, try to collect extra data, or try to do external analysis, and don't include everything in the thesis. If you include more thing in its thesis, you create more problem for you. The more things you include in the thesis, the more question you will face. So maintain a good quantity that is needed to fulfill the degree requirement, but don't include everything, 500 pages, 3 volume of your thesis. No, keep it for your future, at least for the next 2 years. Okay, because next 2 years you cannot start anything new, but you need to fulfill your KPI. You need to continue your publication based on this. So don't publish anything. That's why I tell, publish 1 or 2 from thesis. That's the minimum requirement, and keep it. But publish others from outside, because you need to maintain 10 publications to get a job in this region. So publish from others project, others thing. Works with your colleagues, work with your supervisors, works in the other things. Know the others' knowledge. Knowledge is not just only your thesis. The moment you finish your thesis, you are a philosopher. You are outside of any particular topic or boundary. Next day, you need to supervise a PhD student, and he comes with different topics, not your topics. So you need to supervise him. That's why you need to have gain lots of outside knowledge, lots of things. So, but unfortunately, it depends on your supervisor, how you deal with your supervisors. And many supervisors are not allow students to submit thesis without publish all things. That's very unfortunate, but it's up to you and your supervisor. Okay, review journal information before submission. So before submit, okay, here one thing. So after you finish your thesis, or before, when you ready your content of the thesis, look at the content. Try to find out the maximum number of articles from your thesis. Make every article as a unique idea. Don't repeat it. And then you segregate the whole thesis, and then you find out, suppose 5 articles is possible, then works 2 now and keep 3 for the future, like this. So whenever you make the plan at the very beginning, then you can make the maximization of your articles. So before submission, know the audience. Who is the audience of the journals? Read the scope of the journal. Read the instructions of the author. So it is very difficult to read all the instructions for all publications, especially when you publish lots. So even the formatting, every journal has their own formatting. So the good approach is learn it. If you learn it once, you have no need to learn. That's why I tell you, focus on the publisher. If you work only 5 publishers, then you know their structure. All the structure of Elsevier is almost same. All the structure of the journal structure from the email publisher are the same. All the journal structure from the Indian Science are the same. And same the Roteldeck, Springers, Taylor franchise. So if you once you know their structure, then you just skim very quickly what is the requirement of the journal. Even Elsevier journals, few journals has different types of requirements. Some journals which talk peer review, there is no more peer review in Elsevier. Huh? Many journals has no peer review. They send with all the author's name, affiliation, everything to the reviewer. But most cases they don't disclose the reviewer's name to the author. It's a one-way, not two-way blind review. It's a one-way blind review. Many reviewers get the author's name and description, everything. So read the carefully, and some case that's why some journals say you must include the author's name. Some journal says no, it should be blind manuscript. Author's name and title is different, and manuscript is different. But many cases, journal return back, include your name in the manuscript, and then submit. Okay. So these are the very minor things that takes time if you know the whole structure of the publication. So know the structure; it will save you time. Lots of time in the whole of your life. If you want to save the time, this is the only time you can save your future time. Okay, so read it once and you learn it. So also check the journal requirement, fees, number of authors. So this year I submitted one article in one journal, Australian economic paper, with 4 authors. Then they said we only allow 3 authors, maximum 3 authors. Then this is a very big problem. Eh? If you want to go in the journal, you must remove 1 author, or you cannot submit them. So be careful before you submit because it takes time and lots of arrangement, and then they say text rejection. Okay, so in some cases you submit everything very fine. End of the day they ask for fee. They say it is the golden free access. We are open. You need to pay fee. Then after acceptance also you need to withdraw, and there's also very bad reputation for everyone. So be careful about this issue. And also check few old issues of their journals. Look at the current issue. What types of articles they publish? Is it linked with your articles? Look at the style. So one thing is very important. Understanding or learning the style is the most important things for the top journal, because the editor don't read your article, he reads the style. So editor has a mindset of a style of an article of a journal. So if your article is a different style, that's he instantly rejected. Text rejection. Top journal text rejection is 90%, 95%, 98%. Because now submission is free. Thousands of people submit, and they just instantly decide within 1 minute reject. Okay? And why they reject, I will come in later on. So look at their style. Suppose if you want to publish this journal or top 5 journals, download top 5 articles from the journal. Whenever look their abstract, read all the abstracts of 5 articles, and then arrange your abstract in this line. Read the introductions of 5 articles at the same time, then arrange your introduction in the same way. Look how many sentences they give in the first paragraph of the introduction, how many sentences they give in the last paragraph in the introduction. What is the content, starting paragraph, starting sentence of the introduction. Look the closing sentence of the introduction. Look the closing 2 paragraphs. That's the novelty, objective, the rationale, the significance of the article. How they design, how many paragraphs in the introduction. Try to arrange it according to that line. So these are the mindset of that editor has. Editor just look the style. Right? And this style, he don't read what the thing. Look at the style and then decide very quickly. So if you cannot pass in the initial style method, no. Look at the style, look at the content, what is the important in the conclusion. In the conclusion sections, look at the contribution of the article. Look at the implications of the article. Look at the limitation of the article. Look at the future scopes of the article. So what the editor's mindset of, look at this issue and see how they set up this. Some journals include literature review with introduction. Some journals want separate. Some journals want a separate theoretical background section. And also depends on discipline. But now when you work on the multiple disciplines, you need to understand everything. Some journals want the recommendation in the discussion section with the implication. Some journals want the recommendation, implications, imitation in the conclusion section. Look at the journals, understand their style, revise it, and then submit. Okay, if your manuscripts tell the editor how sincere you are to publish in this journal. If you just throw to him, he also throw to you. It is not his responsibility to publish your article. He's a volunteer person. Remember, the editor is a volunteer person, like me and like other colleagues. They have lots of other things, lots of other job, other KPIs, but this is just a voluntary job. So if you pressure him, he will also not take it easily. If you make things easy for him, you will get his favor. So then check the submission style. Editorial board member, also very important. The editorial board members. Who are the editorial board members? Where are they back people? So they are the all Malaysian people, or the US people, or the European people. Their mindset are different. You should understand their mindset. It is very important to understand the editorial mindset. Okay, before submit, try to make a network, tentative network, collaboration. This is very important for pre-submission concept. Just send the articles to the editor, not submitting the journals to any one of the editorial board or the managing editor or the chief editor. Just write few things. There are few ways to write. You just write that, please check if it goes with you journals, I can submit. Or there are a few other issues that I'm coming later on. You need to make the collaborations, otherwise you cannot hit the top journal. You can give the offer that if you can contribute in my journals, or if you think it has a potential to improve, you can join with us and contribute in the articles. But for the requirement of the university, you cannot. And for the ethical issue, I'm coming for this issue later on this topic. And make a choice of the tentative journals, make a list of the journals, and then try one after another. Do not submit article more than one journal at the same time. Cannot. You will be blacklisted and you will ruin forever. One thing, remember, we build our reputation. We build our reputation one day, not one day, it's day after day, this long efforts, years after years. But it can be demolished in one mistake, only one mistake. Don't submit multiple times. Never ever do it. Once you caught, you will be blacklisted from one publisher, and the publisher will send to the all other commercial publishers. You will be blacklisted forever. Don't do it. Be honest with your data, and even be honest with your data. There are many fake data, and now it's an ethical issue again. Many things in ethical concern nowadays. There are people just manipulate everything to publish. We are rushing for publications. Ethics is far away. Many manipulations in data and result, especially whenever we see people publish 50, 60 articles every year. That's a very doubtful. How can you fit your model? And also modeling the fit the model is also somehow problematic. Suppose you run 100 models to fit your one model. Which one is you decided, your hypothesis? You want to prove and rush to prove your hypothesis. Whatever is true or not, your objective is to prove your hypothesis. And for that, you run hundreds of models, and every model rejects your hypothesis. And you are trying, manipulates here and there, transform the data here and there, doing multiple ways. And finally, you can fit. And eureka, you found it. Does it the real thing? After 900 estimation, only one estimation is the things that support your hypothesis. What about the 900 estimation? Who didn't support your whole hypothesis? So these are one sort of rough and very stupid things. So maybe you can survive short run, but long run cannot. Because whenever we say 99% confidence interval, that means when if 100 people do the research, 99 times they will support this research. When we say 95% confidence interval, that means if 100 times we do the research, 95% times they will support my findings. But your findings is based on very rare things. Just fit the model and submit and publish. That's the things that are going on in this industry. And many people publish like a machine. It's like a statistical game. I'm coming on this issue later on. So be careful about the data, about the result, and be honest about the authorship. There are many things all in terms of authors and the fundings and other declarations. So journal submission process. To understand the differences, different types of journals, and if you understand the different types of journals and arrange it in this way, and try to learn the tutorials given by the different publishers, then that will help you a lot. And the look, very important, corresponding author. A student, if you student as a corresponding author, you don't get the value. The editors want to see the corresponding authors from the professors or high reputed school, and you need to write a letter to the editor, and there are very few smart way to write the letter. And suggest reviewers. Suggest reviewer is very important. Suppose you suggest 3 reviewers' name, and editor will send 1 from your list. If you can suggest a good reviewer or 2 from your list, so you suggest good reviewer. When your friend get the article, you have almost 50% chance to accept the article. How to ensure the good reviewer? Don't suggest your friend from your school or your old school, and don't suggest anyone from the Asia or Middle East. Editor don't bother Asia and Middle East. Suggest reviewer from top universities or developed countries. Select UK, Australia, America, Canada, New Zealand, developed countries. Select good university lecturer. Select with their official email address. Okay, so how can you get them? You need to improve your network, increase network. That's why increase network. And if you make the network with your friends nowadays, one day after 5 years, they will be the lecturer of that university. So that will be help you at that time. So increase network. There is no alternative of increasing network. Even at the time of promotion, so you need to send your file to the external people who will evaluate you. If you don't know, they will not evaluate you. So the network is important. Even you apply for the international grant, you need to know people. And there are many other issues for the external examiners, many things. You need to increase your network. And upload the correct version of the file. Include the all author's name and affiliation. There are, suppose Emerald, if you can submit one affiliation with Emerald journals, you cannot change it. They only consider at the time of submission at your affiliation. So you make a mistake in the affiliation, at the time of submission, if the article accepts, they cannot change it. Because this is included in their clause. So if you read their clause, you understand it. So be careful. Okay. Be careful about this. And authors, even the author's positions, you cannot change it later on. So who is handling the manuscript? The manuscript handling by the people who are the salarized staff, but the editors are not the salarized people. So I am already rushing for time. So few things, just few things very important. The issue of editor. Remember, editor is like us. Editor is a very busy guy. Editor has lots of other jobs, and this is not his job, or this is not his actual things. This is just a voluntary job. So make things easy for him, and he will make easy for you. And give some incentive to editor. Everyone's like incentive. What the incentive? Cite editor. Give some citations of the editor. Give some citations of the managing editor, chief editor of the journal. And there is another logic is that you want to submit one article in these journals, and I am the top expert on this topic, but you don't cite me. That means your content actually doesn't fit here. And also cite their journals. Suppose we publish in this journal last 20 years and you want to publish with us, but you don't cite any one of our old articles, meaning none of our article is linked with your works. That means your works is out of the scope of our journal. Very simple. Very simple logic. Cite the journals, at least 2. Cite the chief editors or the managing editor, at least 2. Okay. So there are many of the things. I am talking about the knowledge, that the techniques. And so a reviewer, when you get the, okay, understand who is the author of your article. You may write the articles for the people, but the people never read it until it's published. Your colleagues never read it until you publish. So who read it? The editor, reviewer. Actually, not the editor, the reviewer. Editor just check, but he don't read everything. The reviewer read your article. So reviewer is the first author. So your target audience is the reviewer. Keep in mind this. Your target audience is the reviewer. And reviewer may be the layman. He is from Tom, Harry, and John from anywhere of the world. Even he may be undergraduate student. That's the very funny thing. He may be a student, or he may be a PhD or master's student, or he may be from different discipline or practitioner. And I got a review report this month. Very funny, and the reviewer is a practitioner, and he said, why you need to do the SEM? Why you need to do all the statistics? Just write, no need to do survey, write whatever is the qualitative way. What you understand, write this way. No need to do any statistics at all. Whatever you do the survey, I know it is just a percentage. No need to do it. Okay. So it's very difficult. And he rejected. And then we very politely adjust everything against something. He again rejected. Editor also understand the things. So editor said, now is his time. But be careful about the reviewers. Many stupid people become the reviewer. So try to understand their motives and don't get angry on replying on their things. Be polite. One thing you should remember, that the reviewers are not the paid people. They spend their time to read your articles and critics and give the time for your development. So you should give some value, some respect to him. Address all of his comments. If you don't agree, say politely, thank you for your very nice comments, but unfortunately, this is out of the scope of our articles. It's not matched with our objectives. We are not agree on this issue, but maybe in future we'll consider it. There are many ways to answer, but don't say anything or avoid him. If you avoid anybody, he will get hurt because the article will go back to him again. So make him convinced. So last time, one people, so whenever whenever I give the review comments, I give the very harsh review comments, very strong critics review comments. And then I expect authors adjust as much as possible. I don't expect authors adjust everything, never ever. And this is not imaginary review, it's a very critical review. And then how much they do, okay, fine, that's good. I'm happy on that they try their best. They put their best effort. Effort is important rather than just ignoring, or rather than try, but you cannot do it. Your effort, editors, reviewers, if you are in the scientific community, we are looking at the efforts. But one author said, I will not adjust anything, whatever you say. Then how can I accept it? So you should give a respect. That's the important thing. So understand the reading style of reviewer. So reviewer don't read everything line by line. They jump here and there. The editor jump here and there. They focus on few areas. They look the novelty, look the objective, look the correct problem statement, not everything, but the actual correct problem statement, look the motivation, look the significance. So you should be careful on this issue. And one thing is reviewer, how they review. This is very interesting. Reviewer also very busy guy. They don't read it as we read, as the student read as their article. No, this is not a good story or it's a novel. They read it without asking. It's not a comic book. Enjoy it. No, they just read it whenever they're walking, when they sit for the bus, when they're in the aeroplanes, when they are waiting for a meeting. So very frequently they forget whatever you do. Suppose once I read 2 pages and I put it with me, and then after do lots of discussion, my student comes after meeting, then I read another 2 pages, then another body comes. So in the meantime, it's gone. So you should have in the sequence, good sequence for the review. Okay, after you get the rejection letter, they will send you very nice and polite rejection letter. And don't die. If you get a rejection letter, be happy that you have some comments. Or if you get the instant rejection letter, also be happy that they don't stuck your article for a long time. You get a very quick response. I want any one of this. If they reject it instantly, very fine. Text rejection is also very good, but I don't get any comments. But at least I save my time. But if they give the comments, with rejection also fine, I can adjust it, improve my article. So whenever you submit in the very top journals, you get a rejected review comments and you submit, or you get the rejections after your submission, or instantly you get the rejection submission. Then you go in the second tier journal. You may add all of their review reports. That actually you are doing their job. If you mention the editor that I submitted these journals in that journals and this is their review report, but initially they don't accept my article. Why? Because maybe they don't agree on it, or maybe there's a very not matching with me, or there's a very high, they're looking very high quality journal articles, or the reviewers are not in favor, or after their rejection I improve it lots. So if you include this clause and a condition and submit to editor, then editor, you actually do the editorial job. So you make his life very easy. Then he will not become the serious for the next review. Understand? He picked the review as a normal rather than a very critical one, because you already got a very critical response. Okay, but we don't like to show our failure, and it's only good for top journal. Suppose you get rejection from American Economic Review. This is a very big success if you get rejection from American Economic Review, because 99% article don't get review report from American Economic Review, because they get the text rejection. If your article go in the review report, means you already passed through the editorial board. Editors like your article. So you already get a big green signal. And just you go in the review report, if you mention it to the any other journals, they like it. Because most of the editors of other journals cannot pass the editorial decision, cannot go in the review process of the American Economic Review. So in case of very top journals, you get the rejection. Don't afraid, show it. Show it to the editors, and that's actually make a good sense for him. So after acceptance, there are a few issues. You need to find acknowledgement. And one thing is, in case of the authorship, if you are a student, university, if you want to use the article for your degree requirement, be careful about the authorship. Look at the authors, because outside author is not included, it's not considered for your degree requirement. Look the university requirement. Many university can, or many university don't allow it. Also look that you need to pay the fees and the copyright transfer, app drop, and then the upload in the repository. There's a condition of such repository, and you can share with other colleagues. Okay, this is the issue. But the one thing is very important is the ethics. This slide is very important to hit the good journals. So ethics, knowledge are very gray area in the publication. So there are many big questions. Is there any syndicate in the publication process? Do you think there is a syndicate? Yes, there is a syndicate. In the top journals, very top journals is fully syndicate. I don't say that you cannot access. You can access, but the access is very limited. If you go in the fair process, very limited. And then, is there any, even suppose, why syndicate? Look at the American Economic Review. They publish only 120 articles in 1 year. But if you look the professors of Harvard, professor of Cornell, professors of Yale, Oxford, how many professors? At least 10,000 professors, big, giant, reputed professors trying to publish in the American Economic Review. But the capacity is only 120 articles in 1 year. That means so many Harvard, MIT professors get rejection from American Economic Review continuously. So how can they go? You cannot distinguish. This is very rare to make a distinguish between an American Harvard professor or an Oxford professor. or their writing, or their concept knowledge, almost same as the Harvard professor or the MIT professor. But how, who article go? It depends on the link. So there are many discriminations among discipline and topics I already mentioned. So does network and relationship help? Yes, network is very important. So previously we just consider knowledge is very important. Nowadays publication is not just a knowledge. Publication combines three things. Knowledge, that means you need a good manuscript. Then fund also very important. You need money. Without money you cannot publish. Even you cannot check English. This year I checked one article 3 times by native speaking English editor. And the native speaking English editor is how much you know? $300, $400 in one time. How much we can spend for one article? Can we spend $1,000 for one article? The top publishers, Elsevier, check the English $1,000 US, more than 1,800 US for one article, one time. It is very, very expensive, very, very expensive. Without project, you cannot do. Even our projects are very small, we cannot do it. So we try to link somewhere here and there. Or other option is you find the network. So donor is very important. First one is the knowledge, second one is the donor. Somebody need to pay. Or if you go for the publication fee, you need to pay. The publication fee is very high, $2,000, $5,000. There are few journals, €5,000. One journal is the Earth Future. I know this because I reviewed the journals. Earth Future is one journal. Very high, top class journal. Huh? MIT professors is the editor. Publication fee is very high. Huh? How can we publish there? Without fee cannot. Huh? So money is important issue. Even at least just check the English. Who pay? We need to check the English by native at least 2 times. At least 2 times. Once at the time of submission, and once at the time of reviewers report adjustment, final submission. But in the meantime, if you get 2-3 times, then you need to revise it again and again. And many reviewers are many editors are very choosy. They don't even accept the native speaker anyone. Huh? They want the receipt with the publisher is the native speaker. That means native language editor from the publisher is so expensive, $800 or $1,000. Cannot afford it. Huh? So we need the money. And third one is network. Network is also important. To hit in the top journals, we need network. So nowadays, okay, what happens if you don't have the network? If you don't have the network, you suppose you invite the editors, please join with us. If the editors willingly to join with you and he makes some little bit corrections here and there, or he don't do any correction, his addition, including his name, is also a value. He has the face value, his name value. That's give the value to publishing the article. Otherwise, you struggle so much, submit and get rejection, submit and get rejection, submit and get rejection, and you be demotivated. Rather than you submit one, get accepted. So this is the gray area. What is his contribution? So nowadays the contribution is in 3 forms. So knowledge contribution, monetary contribution, and networking. So without networking is also very difficult. I'm not telling that it's not possible. It's possible, but very time consuming, very expensive in terms of maybe 4 times. So other issues, your boss funding projects, does this matter? So you need to put their names. Yes, this is a matter. Big matters nowadays. You need to mention everything, consider everything. Our corresponding author or corresponding organization matter. Yes, editor look the corresponding author. I'm not talking these are ethical or not, but these are the matters for now to publish. So a student and supervisor's position, this is you need to decide with your supervisors. There's a class, big class that supervisors also need articles, but he has no time, and he is spending his all time with you, the students. But he need articles from the first author to get promotion for his reputation. But if you get the first, you also need the first author to for your future careers, and it's maybe a thesis or maybe outside. You do most of the job, but this is his contribution, his knowledge, his idea, and you effort. So there is a negotiation. Maybe you are the first author one, he's the first author one, or maybe there's a negotiation. It's up to you, but there is no Fixed rule is a gray area. And the project member, do include all the project member. If a project has many members, maybe they contribute or not, or we need to add some ghost author. So ghost author means you need to add your boss, or you need to add the very top person, or add the authors, or different authors, or add the different collaboration. Suppose I put your name, you put my name. So there are many collaborations people do in many ways. So these are the matter is a matter. Many things is matter in publication. So do fees and waiver related to submission, processing. So in some cases you apply for the fee waiver, processing fee, publishing fee, proof editing, administration, open access, conference link journal. Okay, especially is very important. Conference link journal. So if you publish in the conference link journal or a special issue, some special issue are not open special issue. They are the linked special issue. That means link with conference, link with link with any workshop. In that case, you need to pay to the journals, to the conference. Actually, the money goes to everyone. The guest editor also get the money. The reviewer also get the money. Otherwise, they cannot do it. Why they will do it in the voluntary? If I am an editor, I have already my own journals. Why I do extra load? I have my reputation. Whatever I do, I have lots of job. Why I do extra job? Why I give a special issue extra? Because I have some income, extra income. How can I get the extra income? I arrange some reviewers. Reviewer also need income because they give favorable report. But the one thing is you need to be very clear that favorable report doesn't mean considering the list quality. As a reviewer, as an editor, if I'm the editor of the journals, I never accept low grade journals. But I give a favor. The favor is I give you a chance to review it several times. If I give you comments and you have a assurance that your article will go in this issue in the journal, so you will try your best. Even 3 times, 4 times, you improve it, and at the end of the day, it will become very good and very up-to-date manuscript. But the favor I give you, and assurance I give you, to give more chances I give you, that's not free. So I also get a part of this. And my reviewer, those who review it several times, and they review it on times, and we publish it on time, they also get some part of it. The conference organizers who arrange the all things, they also get some part of it. So now it is widely accepted in academia, and publishers also allow it, because otherwise editors will not work because they are not paid. So who will take the load? I think I can stop here. And the other things, I share the slides. This is the things for everyone, for the publications relevant issue. The other things only for the PhD candidate. This is very important thing for the PhD candidate, how you accelerate your publications, how you manage everything. Huh? So if you get the content, that will help you a lot, I think. And thank you everyone for your patience. So now it's a question and answer session.
Excuse me, Doctor. Where will you share the PowerPoint? How can we receive it?
How can you receive the slide?
Yes, sir.
So okay. So you can contact with the organizer. So I will give the slide to the organizer. So if you contact with the organizer, they will distribute you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you, Associate Professor Dr. Mahmoodou. Wong, he has some things that so he need to leave. So I will moderate the. Thank you, Dr. Mahmoodou. Thanks for your great sharing. I find that your sharing is very informative and very insightful. And I hope all of the students today here will get a very very fruitful insights about your research and the publication. So in fact, Dr. Mahmoodou has shared to us about from the motivation of doing research until the practices and the ethical issue of the publications and the do and don'ts in the publication process. So this is a very good sharing. And now since the time is limited,
I have several tasks to do now. First, I would like to extend my appreciations on behalf of SEFB to Associate Professor Dr. Mahmudu. So thank you again, Dr. Mahmudu, for your presentation today. And next, I would like to okay, I am now in your screen. You can see that there is an announcement from the following talk series on the topic of current development in Islamic finance and the key takeaways for scholars and practitioners. And this talk will be held on 28th February, which is a Sunday, from 10 a.m. in the morning and in the web. And this talk will be also organized in online WebEx platform. If any of you have interest to join or to explore into the Islamic finance, or you want to know what is about the development in Islamic finance for your future research, maybe, so you may record it down, the event, and participate. Okay, next, the second announcement I want to make is if any of you here today need a special workshop, or we call it article writing clinic, or let's say this workshop will be held for 2 days. Okay, if any of you have interested to have this kind of workshop about how to complete your writing or your article. And so if you're interested, you may give your name and student ID to Puan Hasliza, UPSCOB, or you can type your details here. So besides of giving name, I also require you to let us know your contact, your phone and your email if possible, so that we can contact you for this kind of activity. And the event will be charged minimum 50 ringgit Malaysia per person, but this event is not compulsory, so that is upon your interest. Okay. Okay. That's all of my announcement, and then I want to open the floor for Q&A sessions. Okay, so I know that there's a lot of questions posted in the posted in the chat box. I have summarized some of the questions. Okay, for Dr. Mahmudu to answer, maybe. Okay. Okay, since the QR code is sharing, so I cannot share the questions, or let me, okay, before I read the question, any of you would like to ask Dr. Mahmudu any questions on the spot now? Yes, you can open your mic and ask questions to Dr. Mahmudu if you want. Okay. Okay. If since maybe some of you are still preparing your questions, let me read the question in the chat box. Dr. Mahmudu, there's one question about between using qualitative and quantitative data, which one is better for producing good research paper? Okay, so.
Okay, the qualitative and quantitative both are different types of research method, and they have different fields. Even every discipline, you cannot go for quantitative data. So qualitative data we also need, especially the case study or in study. But overall, in terms of number, the quantitative is now focused by the journals. So all the top journals, almost all of the top journals are focusing on the quantitative methods. And I already mentioned that they are too much mathematical oriented, too much statistics oriented. So we show lots of jargon of maths there, lots of equations there. Even we try to fit our model, though it is not fit, we just fix it. It's a sort of, to me, it's not something fair. It's not actually the real case. Whatever we do, all the data, and we just do lots of pressure on the data to make it fit in different way. But end of the day, we make it fit, though it is far away from the real life. Because this happened because the editor wants this, the journals want this. Most of the journals are now quantitative. They want quantitative method, high advanced method, the more method. Okay, but the qualitative also value in terms of discipline. Some of the psychology discipline, they need the qualitative. They need to focus on the case. The law, they need the qualitative. They need to focus on the case. So it's very discipline to discipline. And one thing is qualitative publication is very difficult. Quantitative is very easy because many journals accept quantitative and there are lots of journals, so we can easily publish quantitative. And in case of quantitative, actually we have no need to do very rigorous analysis. Just already statistical software give us everything. We just interpret the software.
Assalamu alaikum. May I ask the Prof one question, please? Prof, usually once we publish many, let's say 20, 30, and sometimes because of lack of students, you tend to publish by yourself. You fall in the trap of repeating the same style of writing, the same vocabs, and so on. Could you please share with us tips of how to say, maybe write the same thing or maybe different thing in many style, writing style, and so on? Thank you very much.
So your question is writing many articles.
You got my question?
How to write many articles?
No. Once we write lots of articles, let's say 20 and 30.
Yeah.
Like every writer has his own style of writing. Fall then in the trap of like the same writing styles, the same vocabularies, the same ideas. Even if you try to integrate a different discipline, my question is how to actually present yourself every time in a different writing style, different view, better view, and so on. Share with us the tips based on your experience.
The first point is why you change yourself. You cannot change your vocabulary. You cannot change your style. This is your unique style, and you need to continue it everywhere. And there is no problem. You follow your style, your vocabulary yourself. That's article yourself. So you need to follow the same thing in everywhere. But you change the content, change the method, change the issue. So it will be new article. Or if you want to mention that, I mentioned look the style of 5 articles. Suppose you download 5 good articles and look their writing style. Writing style is not the content or vocabulary. Writing style is the formatting of the writing. How many sentences, how big the sentences, how many paragraphs, and which paragraphs comes when, which paragraphs indicate what types of things, like this. So whenever you have an idea on the headings, number of subheadings, how the size, how many the citations, how the citations look like, when you get the full structural idea of 5 good journals articles, then you can make good one, and you can make it effective in case of formatting, not just the writing.
Well, thank you, Prof. And another point, just to add, share with us the tips how to, like for example, some of the publication fees, $2,000 and so on. Even if you have fund, it will not cover. So could you please share with us some of the...
Okay, the publication fee, there are a few ways. Now we also need to publish. First of all, you avoid the journal. If you don't have money, or you go for that journal. Okay. Second of all, okay, I can go that journal because I have good link with the editor. So, but I need to publish. So, where I get the fund? So, I need to find out who has the money. If I don't have the money, then I need to find out who has the money. So, need to add somebody who contribute in terms of money. Very simple issue. So, I already mentioned three things needed for the articles. You as a knowledge contributors, you need a co-authors maybe who contribute in terms of fund, who has a big fund. There are lots of people who have huge fund, and there are lots of people who are very big, but they have no time to write. Suppose the big bosses, those who are the big boss involved in the administrative job positions, they have big project, but no time to write article. But they need to fulfill their KPI. So their fund allocation is their contribution in the article. So without fund, you cannot publish it, and without network, you also cannot publish it. So it's a contributions of everyone. As like as a project, in the project, everyone don't work. Somebody use their knowledge, somebody is their network, somebody is their others scope position. So this is the thing. It's a combination everywhere. Previously, we just think knowledge, but now knowledge is one part of it. So need networking. You need to have networking. Find out the people who has project. Work with them. If you work a professor who has a big project, he will involve you in any other project. If he will involve you in future his research project. So it's a collaboration, and he will give you many scope, and he at least he will give you the letter, recommendation letter, which is very important. When you apply for job, you need it. When you submit article in a good journals, you need a reviewer. When you need the student external examiners, you need a reviewer. In case of your promotion, you need a reviewer. So there are many cases your collaborations will help you. So increase the collaboration.
Respected doctor, I need to ask a question. Can I?
Yes, yes. Louder, please.
Yes, as you said that don't submit to more than one journal at the time. But if we have submitted my paper in one journal, and they are replying me after 6 months, and they rejected my paper, and I'll wait for the second and third and so on. So it would take 1 or 2 years. So is it quite enough? That would be outdated paper, and what we
So
need.
that's the process. That's the journal process. Suppose I am the editor of the journals. I read your journals. I process it. I send it to reviewer. Reviewer read it. And in the meantime, you submit another journals. Another reviewer do it. So this is very unethical. You actually don't value us. This is the scientific community, and it's a commitment. If you are in the scientific community, you should have the commitment to everyone that I respect you. The most important thing, respect is important. So if it is the same process, follow everyone. I submitted, get rejection after 6 months, again submitted, get rejection, and cannot do it. You cannot violate this ethics. This is the very fundamental ethics. So that's why we give lots of tips. Find out the journals who give you very quick reply. If you have no time, find the journals where you get the quick reply. Or suppose in our cases, many cases, we need to fill up the KPI within 1 year. Even accepted articles not enough. We need a print version. So how can we ensure a print version within 1 year? We go for the special issue. A special issue ensure within this year they publish the volume. So okay, one thing. So when you get the long waiting reply, email to the editor. Email to them what is the condition. Even if they don't reply after 2-3 email, meaning that actually they are in the process. So you can withdraw it. You send the email, then I withdraw the article, and then you submit other places, because you cannot wait the lifelong for one article.
Thank you so much, doctor.
Okay, I think the time is already over 12. So if you have any further questions, you may.
Doctor, we
Yes.
can
You can.
continue. If
Okay.
you have the question, we can continue.
Okay, maybe we
I have
can.
no problem.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe we can just
Okay.
for two more questions. Anyone? I see there's a one question posted here. How to okay, let me read. What is the speaker opinion on the predatory journal issue? The predatory journal issue.
That's the whole lecture I mentioned about the predatory journal
Yes.
issue.
Yes.
One opinion, extra opinion. There's no extra opinion. Don't go for it. It will kill you. Not today, but tomorrow. One day you will get caught if you publish literary journals. Go the scoopers and click the name of anyone. You will find where they publish. So very problematic if you publish in literary journals. Maybe you just get relief now for the PhD, but what will happen when you supervise your student? Your student click your name and he got that you are the person make something crap in your life. So once you do it, you cannot hide it anymore. It's always in the record. Be careful about the literary journal. And another issue is you cannot use it in your career anywhere because they are continuously blocking the literary journal.
Yes, correct. And any more questions from the floor, from the audience? Students, do you have any questions? Okay, I think no more questions from, because some of them have asked, has posted the question in the chat box, and I think Dr. Wong has replied the questions. Okay, one more about what is the top journal acceptance similarity rate? Is it 10% or what is the maximum similarity rate level of the plagiarism for top journal? Yes, Dr. Mahmudu, you have muted. Okay.
Okay, I already mentioned it is below 10%.
The question is what is the similarity level for top journal, meaning the plagiarism similarity level? What is the tolerance rate?
Tolerance rate is 10% maximum, so it should be below 10.
Okay, below 10.
And any single source must not more than 1%. Total below 10 and single source maximum 1.
Okay.
And that's very, very difficult.
Yes, yes. How about for those journal that meaning that those research has been well established, so meaning there's a lot of technical terms that we need to write in the article, so we cannot change the word, but it can bring to higher similarity level because
Yes,
we cannot change the technical words. Yes.
That's why it is difficult. But those who publish in Q1 all are below 10% similarity report. Look how they do it. That's I'm telling. If you download five good articles and see their style, then you understand how they do it. And if once you learn the style, then means okay, you will learn it forever. And it's an asset. So spend time, learn the style. We do it. Otherwise, we cannot publish in the Q1. And 3 times, 4 times revise it. Last time I submitted one article. This year I published one article in Q1, and they send it back. Just only one sentence is a big phrase. Suppose 5 word is traceable from another article. So not everything is below 10%, but one phrase is traceable from a source. It's not a plagiarism because it's not a full sentence, just only one phrase. Then the editor said, okay, revise it. And that's very difficult. That's why sometimes we need to spend lots of money because in our capacity it's not possible. So we need to send it to the native speaker and the good speaker from the good editor from the journal, and they're charging very high. So money is a big thing in this game. And that's why if you see many articles now coming in the top journals, 5, 6, 7, 8 authors, and including 1, 2 authors from China. The Chinese authors give the money. Very simple. The Chinese authors, with respect, not all, but most of the Chinese authors don't know how to write a single English sentence. I went China last year. I stayed 2 weeks in Nanjing Science and Technology. I visited several professors, and the professors told me he cannot speak English. He called the interpreter to talk with me, but what he said is very amazing. He said, Don't publish these journals where many people publish. Publish very unique journal like the Energy Economics, Journal of Finance, top journals. Make the collaborations. I know how to publish there. If you make the collaborations, I will pay the money. I have the network. My friend is the editor of the journal, so no problem. We need to collaborations, and I will pay the money to how much English needed. Even they said the similarity 0%, we make it. We pay $2,000 only for English, no problem. Understand the issue? The publications is more than a knowledge issue. It's a many mechanisms are here. Now, if you go in the top journals, look the journals, almost every article has a Chinese author or affiliated with China University. That means China is very aggressive and spending huge. You can't imagine how much they are aggressive now. Even Nanjing University, they offer professorship if you have 5 articles in Q1 or Q2 associate in last 3 years, as a rank of professorship. And their KPI is also very high. Next 3 years, you need to publish 12 Q1, Q2 articles. That's the only KPI. So they are very aggressive people now, and is spending huge money for the postdoc. Hire lots of postdoc, and with the content just publish. There's a machine. You can't publish. So if you see the articles, previously the discipline is only 3 authors, makes 2-3 authors. We consider 3 authors is the very standard, but not more than 4. 4 is the maximum range. But you see now I'm talking the social science, not the experimental science or natural science, because natural science, experimental science needs lab. They have even 200, 500 authors in one article. But in social science, we just run a regression based on secondary data. Why I need 7-8 authors? To run a regression, I don't need 7 authors. So what they do? Yes, they do. 2 people give the fund. How much fund is needed? $2,000, $4,000, no matter. So there are now, it's the industry now, lots of mechanism, lots of collaboration, just add and publish. So there are many issues. That's what I'm telling. There's the ethics, knowledge, and now it's a very gray area. And how it will survive or which direction it is going, you need to be care of this. But even top school consider 4 authors maximum. Remember this one.
Okay.
If you go better school, suppose if you apply Singapore National University, you apply Hong Kong University of Technology, Nanyang University of Technology. I'm talking in this video. They look at your article very cautiously. But if you apply here, even if you apply in the University of Malaya, they look the article cautiously. I faced the interview in University of Malaya. They asked me why your article is in other discipline, why your article in that discipline. So even outside discipline, that's the question. Even here also now, even the ministry is now focusing on the same discipline journals. So they are very cautious on this issue. The day you will face, that's my point. The day we face is over. Don't compare with the other people. Don't compare what your supervisor has or not. Look at your peers group. Look at your time. That moment you apply for the job, who will be the your competitor? What is their case? What is the condition now? That days is over. That my supervisor has no PhD, but he gives the PhD. That days is over. Nowadays is different. Even you want to become a lecturer, you must need a PhD. So the time is not same. That's what I'm telling. Time always changing and competing. You are competing the people in your area. So look your competitors. How are they doing? And compete with them. And the expertise to compete your peer groups, not the old people. One student comes and tell me, I know very better method than my supervisor. I go, very nice, but your supervisor is not in your time. He's the supervisor. He is in his generation. That generation is over. You are not competing with him. And you need his help in your whole life because he is your supervisor. The moment you apply for a job, who give the recommendation? The moment you apply for the promotion, who give the recommendation? The moment you go anywhere for the reference, who give the recommendation? Even if he do nothing for you, he is the umbrella for you. Without him, you cannot survive because your thesis included his name. So be good with your professors, link with him, understand his motive, and one day you will be the professor. And you also go in the same process with your student. Your student need to work. You, as a professor, don't write the article. They have no time to article. Their time is over. They already gone all through this process. Now they give the idea, they check the correction, they make the correction. There's the big contribution. One day you will be the professor, you will be the supervisor. That will be your contribution at that time. So understand the motive of the professor, supervisor, and a student. Make good relationship with him. If you make good relationship, you work with him, he also give you a better return in future. And if you think you will succeed him, never ever, because he is always in your umbrella.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Dr. Mahmudu, for your very kind, informative sharing. I think you have do a great job in these sessions. You not only share the publication, you also share all those the practice, okay, the norms in research publications field. I think this is very informative. Not only for the student, for me as well. I think because I am just a fresh researcher, I also need to learn a lot of these the norms in the publications from the expert like Dr. Mahmudu. Okay, once again, thank you, Dr. Mahmudu, and thank you, UPS COB for organizing and SEFB for organizing this workshop. So the time is has over, so I would like to end this sharing or this talk today. Thank you very much. Just keep with the next or the following talk series. Okay, so thank you everyone. Bye.
Thank you very much for questions. And if you have any question, you can see me later on, or you can email me, contact me, no problem. Eh? We are very open and free.
Yes, so I think for the PowerPoint, you can personally contact Dr. Mahmudu to get a copy if he can share with you.
Okay, that's okay. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much, everyone.